paid-it-all winner for this.
It's the biggest race we have all year long.
The icons of this sport have all starred on its biggest stage.
It's the great American race. Trust me.
I won the Daytona 500. I won the Daytona 500.
Pull them belts tight one last time, boys. Light the fire.
Push coming now for Harvick. Oh, and around goes a couple cars. Priest upside down. He's barrel rolling through the grass.
You got plenty of money. Don't need that to keep racing. Is it worth the risk to keep on going?
Sure, to win.
Yeah, welcome to the Bump and Run podcast. I'm your host, Mike Z-Boy, joined by my two best friends, Matt the Statman Reilly and Eric Daytona Ron. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Hope you guys had yourselves a Kyle Larson type of weekend. Here's the big winner down at the Charlotte Roval, and I just lost all my notes. Oh no. I hate the OneDrive. By the way, anyone that uses Windows OneDrive, I don't know anyone that uses it. All I know is people that bitch about it. Anyways, make sure you like, share, subscribe, do all that stuff. Podcast available every Tuesday at Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and more. Fellas, how was your weekend? I saw you guys on Friday. We shared some fun at our friend Chris Bubba Turulo's wedding. Big congratulations to him and his beautiful bride, Kelly. But fellas, how's it going? How you guys feeling since Friday? How was your hangovers on Saturday?
I was okay.
Me too.
I was okay.
Yeah, I was good.
I knocked them back on Saturday night watching college football, so I was good enough to get back on the old high horse there.
Oh yeah, I woke up at 5 a.m, mouth dry as shit, and I ran and grabbed a bottle of water, and I feel like that really made the difference at 9 o'clock when I finally woke up. But yeah,
I did the same thing, Whitey. I did the same thing, and it was one of those when you wake up in the panic, your mouth is so dry. I felt like if I didn't get my tongue water, it would have just cracked and fell off right onto the floor. That's how dry it was.
Like a Looney Tunes cartoon.
For the majority of the day, I wasn't hungover. I was pretty good because knowing that we were going up Saturday as well, up to Kelly's property for an extended, celebration up there, and I was ready to drink again Saturday night. So I tore it up Saturday night again, passed out in Luke's van up there, and enjoyed the time on the land and the property up there.
Oh, yeah. How was it after I left? When I left, you guys were looking at the rings of Saturn through the giant telescope. So,
oh, yeah.
Did you find any more planets?
We were blowing people's minds with the telescope, got Saturn dialed in, we got the moon dialed in, and then a little bit later on, we had to wait for Jupiter to come over the horizon, and we ended up dialing in Jupiter as well and its moons that were around it. So, we had a pretty good time up there, pitch black up in the middle of nowhere, so it was perfect for the telescope to see some planets.
Hell yeah. It was a great time for all. How about you, Matt? What was the rest of your weekend like? You said college football Saturday?
Yeah, college football Saturday, and not much. Just some running around. I had to go back up there on Saturday morning to get my car at the wedding venue, and then we went shopping. Did a little driving on Business Route 6. Lived to tell the tale. So we did good. It was a blast seeing everyone. Congrats to Bubba and his beautiful wife Kelly. It was a hell of a wedding. So just a great time seeing you guys and partying. And listen, it's just another dance floor that met its demise.
Hell yeah,
we stepped in there.
Yeah, we were pretty hard on the dance floor. I tell you what, I battled Business Route 6 on Saturday morning too to go pick up my car at the hotel that I didn't stay at. And my whole plan, so I didn't stay at a hotel. I was coming back with some friends back home, but we had to get ready at the hotel. So I left my car up there. My whole plan was, all right, well, the tuxedo place is on the way, and I have to hit the radio station to go to work. And then I had a whole bunch of other running around to do after that. So I'm like, oh, just boom, boom, boom. We'll get everything done. That way I can make it up to the party later on Saturday on time, which I showed up an hour and a half late. I'm sure that would shock you, but I still beat Luke Birdie and Eric. When I was going up, I saw Eric coming down Tunkhannock Ave, so I was like, well, I guess I'll beat him there at least.
And you know what else you beat me?
What's that?
I definitely did not return my tux the day after like they asked me to on Saturday. There was no chance in hell I was getting up there on Saturday to return my tux.
Eric, good for you, man, because that's got to be a policy that has to be taken care of. If that was on a ballot, if that was someone's
measure,
I would vote for them in November, because that's got to change the day after the wedding tux return.
It's crazy because like there was just no way I was going to do it. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to let them determine my Saturday.
That's right.
And just because I'm like, no, so screw that. So I didn't return it Saturday. I didn't return it Sunday because it's Sunday. I just figured they weren't open. And then Monday was Columbus Day. And I'm like, well, there's another day that they're probably not open. But they actually were. I got a text message from them like, oh, this is Sarno. If you didn't, if you return your tux already, ignore this. But we'll be open today, modified hours from 11 to 4 or something like that. So I ended up bringing it down to the Kingston one. So I didn't have to go to Business Route 6.
Yeah.
And I walked in and the lady goes, oh, return it. Everything go well. I said, yep, everything is good. She goes, okay. So I'm standing there. She goes, all right, you're good. And in my head, I go, I'm 3 days late returning this.
Yeah. Where's the fees?
And I go,
do they have a card on file though?
Yeah,
no. And I go, you know what? I go, I'm late with this for sure. She goes, really? I go, yeah. I go, couple days. I go, if you say I'm good, I go, I'll leave right now. I'm like, I'll leave. She goes, oh, no, let me see here. And she goes, oh, yeah, a couple days. But I go, I just don't want this karma. I go, I'm doing the right thing here by letting you know. And she only charged me $20 for one day. And I'm like, all right, I'll take it. I got the karma. I didn't walk out on it or nothing.
There you go.
It was all good. But no, fuck that. The next day after a wedding that you're in, fuck that. I wasn't getting there.
No, it's just a way to collect $20 day after day. I bet you Luke still hasn't taken his back.
No, he did. He called me, and I missed the call. I was sleeping. That he was going to take it back. Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, great weekend overall. And then we had the NASCAR race on Sunday. So we'll talk.
We did?
I guess so. I don't know. It was something. We'll get into it. But first, we got some NASCAR news to talk about. You guys want to jump into it? Something that's already troubling. Saw this on Twitter the other day. The CW is possibly looking at broadcasting some of the Xfinity Series races remotely in 2025. Obviously, we've seen Fox do that with the Truck Series, and fans do not like it. Very vocal online, so I don't know what they're thinking with the CW, but what do you guys, think about it all?
I'll tell you what. It's terrible. This is another one of those sport crippling decisions to save some fucking money, to stay back in a studio, to not do the right thing, to not cover the sport the way it should be covered. And I remember you talking about this, Whitey, about ESPN and like when we were trying to find TV deals and how certain things, they were done right. Like you watch some of these old broadcasts, some of these old graphics, and like they took NASCAR more seriously. And all I've seen as of late is them taking it less and less serious. They don't care about the fans. All they care about is making money and profiting and cutting costs and screwing teams. And we see with this lawsuit, they're just going backwards. So Dale Jr., he voiced his opinion pretty loudly too about how it's terrible to do things remotely, how he hates doing it remotely when he was asked. And like that alone should bring and go through NASCAR like a freight train and let them know, do not do this. Just don't do it.
It's a bad decision. I completely agree. How much do we make fun of the truck broadcast because they broadcast remotely?
You could feel it. You could feel that they're not there.
It's a worse product.
Yeah.
And that's not a debate. It is a worse product. Eric, everything you said, I 100% agree with. So I don't have to really go into it too much more than that because we've talked about this in the past with Fox. So if you want my opinion, either just take what Eric just said because it's the same thing, or go back to past episodes. But at the end of the day, it's sad to see. We're not even, they've done a couple races this year on the CW already. We're doing the whole Xfinity Series next year on the CW, and we're already pulling shit like this. I mean, it's disheartening. It's disheartening.
And I'm going to assume it's NASCAR that's making this decision because if I remember correctly, the CW broadcast team, at least for next year, is supposed to be produced in-house by NASCAR Productions, right? So, I mean, you're being sued as an antitrust lawsuit, and it's like, yeah, how do we make more money? How do we cut spending even more? You know, let's broadcast from Charlotte instead, which it's frustrating. The whole broadcasting world is frustrating. Something that might be frustrating to some fans of Hailie Deegan, or exciting depending on your views of it all. She is leaving the NASCAR world and she is heading over to Indy NXT for 2025's racing season. I got to be honest with you. I have no idea what the Indy NXT series is. I assume it's Indy Next, like Indy Lights. Is that? Do you guys have any clue or no?
Are you doing that because of the WWE NXT series?
I'm assuming.
Because I'll be honest with you, I am too. I'm doing the same thing. I honestly don't know. So we're probably going to sound stupid to somebody.
No, it is. It was previously Indy Lights. So yeah, it's like the
feeder series.
The feeder series to Indy. Yep.
Okay, so that's what I was going to say. I believe it's the feeder series to Indy. Listen. Things haven't worked out the way she had hoped, her fans had hoped here in the stock car world. She's beloved by a lot of people. We love her. We hope she does good. She's a fun personality. Seems like. So we wish her. I wish her the best of luck. I hope it works out for her. She finds her niche somewhere because she could draw a lot of marketing. I mean, it's good to have that. So wish her the best of luck. It sucks that it didn't work out here, and it's not to say that she won't be back, but she had a rough go with things the past 3 or 4 years since she got up to the top 3 series. So good luck to her.
Yeah. I think it's more the way I'm looking at this is get out of this toxic environment that you're in NASCAR right now. We all seen her career and how they don't treat her the same on the racetrack as they do others. You know what I mean? She gets roughed around, and it might be an opportunity for her to expand her skill set, go different racetracks. And IndyCar, to me, there's not as much bumping and banging and doing that kind of stuff. So this might suit her driving style a little bit better, because in the Indy cars, you don't want to be bumping and banging, and you want to stay as far away from the other cars as possible. And in NASCAR, she's just getting run over and doored, and so it's like, hey, maybe go down there and maybe you'll have a better career because it suits her racing style a little bit better, where she could just focus on racing and not what other people are going to do around her. Maybe this will be, we could really see her true speed behind the wheel of a race car here. So I think she'll do okay. Maybe in the Indy car, they have a little bit better, I don't want to say rules, but, like driver etiquette and driver code and how they race, I think it could benefit her there too, because, in the NASCAR world of recently, it's become demolition derby, run over at any cost, get a win.
Those cars can't get used up in Indy because they'll crumble or you know what I mean? So they can't use each other up over there.
So I think that is going to be the deciding factor in it. And I hope she does well, like Matt said.
I agree. I think it is a good opportunity to work on her racecraft a little bit. And you made a good point with, she honestly does. She gets used up like crazy. So hopefully she has a better path. She's pulling the reverse Danica Patrick, it seems. But nothing but the best for her. She's still very young. She's obviously a talented driver, so I'm sure she'll succeed somewhere. Let's see. This is an interesting story that I don't honestly understand what could happen in this situation, but NASCAR has been notified that apparently some intellectual property has been reportedly given to another team by a Joe Gibbs Racing engineer. Now, a lot of fans are speculating that it was RCR and that's why they got all that speed out of nowhere after the Olympic break. Even if you go back a couple weeks, Ty Gibbs made some pointed comments about, I wonder where they found all that speed. So it seems that there was a leak at Joe Gibbs Racing and some setup data was released to another team. Again, we don't know exactly which one. Did you guys see any more into this of like some of the ramifications that could happen or anything like that?
All I saw was that there was cash in hand.
Yeah.
And that was a persuading factor to a guy. Like he was like, it's like old mafia deal. We always talk about the greasy palms in NASCAR and all these shady behind closed doors deals. And it looks like an engineer. Hey, we know NASCAR ain't fucking paying them anymore.
Right.
So, they're not getting the money that they're worth. Hey, NASCAR, if you pay your engineers, they won't leak data. So I think maybe that played a role too. But that's all I heard other than the stuff that you just told me. But yeah, if RCR and that, hey, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, I guess at this point.
I love a little cash in hand drama behind the scenes. Let's go. I love it.
I love in movies when they open up the briefcase, but it's like a comedy. It's like, that's all it is. It's like, yeah, 20 grand's only like 2 little stacks, but like, you know what I mean? But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with it. If anything, I don't know. I feel like this is one of those things where it's like, yeah, you kind of just fire the guy, right? Like you fire the guy. And
I don't know, but does NASCAR get involved to keep it hush hush to make them look good? And they're not, you know what I mean? Like I think at a certain point, didn't someone in the NASCAR world actually, like, NASCAR knows about this, right? Like it came from, like, they've talked about it, right, in the open.
Eric, if I'm getting this right, if I'm mopping up what you're spelling, are you inferring that NASCAR would attempt to cover something up?
Matt, I think you just mopped up what I was spilling.
Ooh.
No, they wouldn't. The France family?
That sounds like a big old mess.
I just think this is just another bad look on them.
Yeah.
I just think this is another thing that they would, they're in trouble, man. They are in trouble. And I know we'll get into it, but a couple other bad calls this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just never ending for them. And I'm laughing and smiling because good for them. You know what I mean? Like, I'm glad they're like sweating and everyone's on their heels for once. But if an engineer did do that, I think NASCAR would police it so it doesn't happen again. I think you would have to, like Matt said, either fire the guy, and there's got to be a ramification for it, or else everyone's just going to start doing greasy deals.
Yeah, like ban someone from the sport or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'll keep you guys updated if we hear anything further. Let's see.
Eventually, I'm assuming something will come out.
Yeah.
And if it was RCR, the speed fell off.
Quick.
So whatever it was only lasted a couple weeks.
Yeah, KB had a decent run this week, finished 13th though. He got some stage points.
He's going to wheel that car way 10, 12 spots above where it should.
We mentioned it last week at the end of the episode, KB's track record with the next gen car at the Roval. So he's going to figure that out anyway. You know, I don't know if hey, listen, if you had more of that data, maybe you would have won.
See, speaking of some shadiness and disqualifications, Jeff Gordon says the Hendrick Motorsports is pretty embarrassed and very disappointed with the number 48 getting disqualified following Sunday's round of 12 elimination race at the Charlotte Roval. If you've been living under a rock since Sunday night when the news broke, Alex Bowman has been disqualified from the NASCAR playoffs because he came in underweight. After post-race inspection, apparently, according to NASCAR officials, there is a 17-pound discrepancy. There's leeway in between there, and they also allow you to change your fuels or your fluids and fuel up to try to make that minimum weight, and they just couldn't do it. Some internet sleuths think that possibly a ballast fell off of the car during the race, which is a bigger fine and penalty because each one of those ballasts, apparently they're 4 inches by 4 inches by 4 inch squares, and they weigh about 41 pounds. So it's about the size of a baseball, and it's very dangerous if it comes loose. So Hendrick says they're not going to appeal after being disqualified. So what do you guys think about just the whole entire situation with Alex Bowman? Especially on the good run he's been having too. The
whole saying, if you've been living under a rock, I just pictured some guy crawling out from underneath the rock. Alex Bowman did what?
What? He lifts his rock open to uncover his underground bunker.
Patrick Star and SpongeBob, dude.
Yeah, that's exactly.
I'll save some side. I'll save some side. So you save some time on down the road here. So this is actually my wreckers for the night. Crazy. I mean, when a team doesn't appeal, they know they did something wrong. My actual wreckers goes to Blake Harris, the crew chief, because, dude, we've talked about it in other instances when stuff goes wrong. That's your car. That's your team. You know, that's on you. Like, and I think I think they even said that was that was an overlook or whatever. Whether I don't know if they were towing the line and they just went way too overboard with it or what,
which is possible too. Yeah, it could also not be a ballast falling off, and they were just so close to the line. You know.
Yeah. So I mean, initially my thought is when it happened was, well, you saw that car. I mean, dude, that car hitting that turtle coming down into the front stretch. I mean, it lifted off 3 feet off the ground, slammed down. Like, no wonder why it took off. It was light. Oh, yeah. You know, it was, I don't know. I thought that, hey, it went through a couple bangs and bruises and yeah, it's going to be light because it's missing pieces. But apparently it was missing enough where it was like, no, that wasn't the issue. Like Did they
ever say how much it was light by?
No, they didn't come out and say how much it's light by. That's
fucking bullshit in my eyes. Like, let us know, NASCAR. Yeah. Like, I'll sit here and I'll fucking yell, I'll bitch all day long, but I could be yelling into the fucking ether, and it could be like, just let us know. Yeah. Just let us know what the fuck it was and how much it was. Like, why do they gotta play these fucking games all the time?
Right. It was at least 17.5 pounds over, or 17.01 pound over. If 17 pounds is the leeway. Denny Hamlin said if it was a part to fall off, it's got to be a pretty big part to make that much weight up. So it's not like, a crush panel fell out or something like that.
There was a video that somebody posted that during one of the incidents involving Bowman, a piece flew off and somebody said yeah, that could have been ballast like that. I don't know. I mean, if it weighs 41 pounds, I just don't see that flying through the air like that, but maybe.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure. I know we've seen people lose ballasts in practice in the last couple of years. I think Cody Ware lost a ballast, and that was a big 2 crew members get ejected for 4 weeks, and I think they get a fine because it's a safety hazard if one of those goes through a windshield. But again, we're just speculating. No true word, and I guess we'll never know unless Hendrick says we found what we were missing and it was this, which I can't see them.
But they're fucking over every single Alex Bowman fan.
They are.
If I'm a Bowman fan right now with Justin, one of our friends of the show, I would be furious if I'm him right now. I want to know exactly what went on. I want to know exactly what the hell came off that car. Because, Matt, you're right. Blake Harris, you don't even need to do that. You know your guy is great at this. What the fuck are you doing? Right. He's had the greatest I think he had the most points accrued and the best average finish amongst the fucking playoffs.
He did.
It was crazy. And then you fuck him over like this? He didn't need to do that.
So Justin was at a wedding, I guess, down in Texas this weekend. And when the news came out after the race, I didn't know if he was flying or what he saw. I still actually don't know what the timeline was, but I think it was Monday morning when I was at work. He sent over a funny text that I think he just finally found out or whatever. And I sent him back I was waiting for this text message because I didn't know what because he's a huge Bowman fan, and yeah, he's not happy about it. He was calling for Harris's job all day yesterday.
I would be too, especially too just think about the summer that he's been having. Alex Bowman, I mean, where the rumors are swirling that he's on the chopping block and all this stuff, steps it up for the last couple weeks, just absolutely dominating not dominating, but absolutely killing it in the playoffs the way he needs to be. And then you have your legs swept right from underneath you, all because of this, It was
weird. I sent you guys I don't know. Oh yeah. It was a 3 or 4 second video right after Bowman had gotten out of the car after the race. At that time, they had thought they had advanced, and it was him, and what's his name? Andrews from Hendrick higher up, and it might have been Jeff Gordon or somebody else.
It was Jeff Gordon for sure.
They were standing around like
Jeff
right outside
Andrews?
the car, and they seemed like somber for like had just getting out of the car, and like the race had just ended, and in their minds they had just advanced into the round of 8, and like there was no celebration. They were kind of standing around like kind of dumbfounded, like did they know before the end of the race that something was going to get caught? Like,
it's like, is this going to be an issue? Are they sweating now because they have to go through post-race tech? You know?
Right.
I don't know. I don't know. I know exactly what you're talking about too. I believe Claire B. Lang was the one that tweeted that video of them looking like weird after, and she even said like, "Why are they somber?" You know. And then this news came out. Yeah. So,
I don't know. At this point, I mean, I could probably eat my words here, but like in the moment, I hate post-race inspection. If you make the fucking race and everything is good according to the NASCAR officials to start that race, you're clear to race, right? And then however goes on during that race, I said in our text, like, what more could you do during that race to really give you an advantage? And if you do find something like Harvick, when the hood comes down and all very noticeable stuff, I could see detonating, pulling out fenders and side skirts, noticeable shit, I get. But man, these type of things, they irritate me. And I know, I'll tell you right exactly why I have this feeling. Because Matt Kenseth got disqualified one time. After post-race inspection, he was driving the 20 red Husky Tools car, and his camshaft on the teardown was 3,000ths fucking small. Yeah. And I'm like, in the camshaft, what?
That's horsepower, baby. That's compression right there.
I'm like, this is fucking bullshit. Like 3,000ths. It's like, it's not even a hair. Like, what do you, like, how do you know during a race that this, it's like, God damn it. You're disqualifying him for that. And it's like, fuck, I was pissed from that day forward about post-race inspection.
Well, no, but like I know what you mean. Like anything could happen within a 400-mile race where they're beating and banging. Something gets bent a little this way or whatever it might be, where like, really, like that's what we're going to fucking do. Like, I don't know, man.
No, I get it. And honestly,
how did they pass pre-race and fail post-race? How? Something had to have fallen off.
Or they were right on that line. Like you said, like they could have been just right on that line.
Yeah.
And then
that's probably what it was in order for them to pass. And then something happens.
And to there, like to shut me up in my argument is like the teams most likely did it. Yeah. And I know that, but it's like, it's still fucking frustrating.
You don't think that the guy at Roush Yates that built that engine for Matt Kenseth knew that camshaft was 3/10 off? Of course he did, because he's like, this will make like the slightest bit more compression. We're going to gain in horsepower.
Yeah, that was back when they were making their own shit too. Right? So it's like, that's when it's like, that it's on there. So like the next gen, it's harder. Purpose, it's harder to do that kind of stuff, which is why I kind of question the Alex Bowman thing and why they're not letting us know what they did and like the direction behind it. And if your other garage members and teams, what you want to know what the 48 car did there?
I would love to know. Yeah,
you know what I mean? So like, I hate this. Maybe I just hate the secrecy of it all. And like how we always have to read in between the lines. And most of the time it's just flip the fucking page. Don't even read between the lines.
Yeah, because how'd you feel not last year, 2 years ago when Denny Hamlin got disqualified and Martin Truex Jr. got disqualified for having that extra piece of tape underneath the wrap?
Remember that?
Bullshit.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, I
they
think it's
pulled
like,
one over, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. I just remember they were very clear about that.
You know what I mean?
Though,
I like that Roddy Childers started doing that. Like, I like trying to go the extra mile.
That's NASCAR. Sport was founded on. Like, that's what it was all about, was what can you do to get one over and win the race? Like the classic Chad Knaus telling Jimmy Johnson before a race, hey man, if we win this thing, back it right into the wall when you're celebrating.
I love it.
There's where I have a
right
problem.
Into the wall.
That's my problem. I feel it's with the pre and post. If you made the race with those stickers stacked on top of one another and they didn't catch it, you made the race, you got one on them. NASCAR, nope, you missed it. You had your opportunity and you missed it, bitch.
I get it. Speaking of though, damage and whatnot, apparently this past week NASCAR spoke with crew chiefs to assess the damaged vehicle policy and the tow policy going forward for the rest of the season. Obviously,
isn't it a little too fucking late for that?
It should be clear, cut and dry. What they did to Barry, do it till the end of the season.
So
follow the rule.
So apparently they've changed things. If a car has repairable damage and flat tires, e.g., the chase by chase basis at Dega, the 9 and the 14 at Dega, will be towed back and put on the DVP policy. If a car has significant damage, oil or water spewing, broken radiator, etc., will be towed to the garage and out of the race. And if a car has flat tires but cannot drive back to pit road from an incident, e.g. Ryan Blaney at Watkins Glen, it'll be declared out of the race.
Whitey, can I ask you, where did were you reading that verbatim off like a rule sheet, something NASCAR sent out?
I believe that was posted by Kelly Crandall on Twitter.
Okay. The only reason I ask is if that's straight from NASCAR.
No, that's from Kelly Crandall.
There's one word in there that you used that NASCAR is going to lean on, and it's the word etc.
Where was it?
It was like if they have
broken
like
radiator, etc.
Fluids, yada, and then etc.
Yeah.
If that's like the actual terminology, that's something that I don't fucking like, because NASCAR is going to be like, well, that falls under the etc.
Well, it's like your bumper was hanging off, so you can't go. Yeah, no, right. I know what you mean.
Well, see, now we're getting into the weeds here with an irritating thing that I have here with. The officials are going to determine that if your car is there. Like, now it's going to come down to that guy getting out of that EMS truck that could barely fucking pick up a piece of fucking metal off the goddamn track and get back in. He's going to say, "Oh, seconds ago, yeah, oh, your car can't make it now." Like it's going to be on that guy.
Let the crew chief make
and
that call.
And that guy's going to be different at every fucking racetrack that we go to. So listen, NASCAR.
You think Vega
you have the
towing
funds to do it? Get teams, get and travel. You're buying every fucking NASCAR track. You're buying all the tow trucks. Have your own fucking officials that you train every single fucking year to go to all these races. Your drivers, your truck fucking haulers, guess what? They're going 36 weeks on the fucking road. Make your NASCAR officials official and be part of the payroll of NASCAR and show up every week to every race like the whole rest of the sport does. You can't have these new people. Oh, this guy here. Oh, this guy. Oh, he's good. No. It should be the same fucking people in the booth making the calls, and it should be the same people on the racetrack making these fucking calls.
Yeah.
I agree.
And I agree. You're not going to have consistency when there's two different brains operating. You're not going to – my brain, Eric's brain, Whitey's brain, my brain, they all work differently. They all operate differently. They have different viewpoints. Like what I might see or what I might think in a car is, nah, you're good to go. Eric, you might walk out and be like, no, it's fucking not. You're not going to get the consistency, you know?
Hook it the fuck up! Hook it up!
Hook it up! You stupid sons of bitches!
Hook it up! Hook it up, you sons of bitches!
He is such a squinty, Weasley-faced bitch. I hate him. Sorry.
That might be one of the best moments in NASCAR, dude. Like
ever.
I swear to God, it might be.
That video from Pocono is the and then again at Talladega.
Again, last week at Talladega.
With glasses on, just hook it up.
Hook it up.
You stupid sons of bitches.
I Joey Logano. Oh. Speaking of blown calls, we have a NASCAR weekend to talk about, and there's a blown call in the Xfinity race. Poor Parker Kligerman, man. Sam Mayer was the big word. I know me and Eric didn't see the Xfinity race. Were you listening to it at all or anything, Eric?
No, I watched all the qualifying and all that shit leading up to it, and I never ended up watching the race because I was curious to what happened to SVG, and it turns out he bad strategy call, and you know it kind of took him out of contention with that, as from what I heard. But no, I did not get a chance to see that, and I obviously heard about the ending, and I just saw a clip before we got on here with Junior kind of expressing his thoughts on it and how he's like, hey, like, you know, obviously Sam Mayer, you know, Junior Motorsports, you're going to want that to win. But he's like, I fucking love Parker. And last season, you know, full-time in Xfinity, you win that race, you go on to the next round as well.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, all of this and you know, I guess it comes down to when they threw it. It wasn't the fact that I think they had to throw a caution, but it was kind of like, let them take it, I guess. I don't know. It was the timing of it all. And once again, here we are talking about the tower and when and how and if. So it just sucks for that 48 and Parker, man. It was just like I felt the whole sport in general was rooting for him. At least, you know, I was, you know, and it sucks when you lose in that aspect and you get knocked out in that aspect. You know, it sucks.
Matt, did you see any of the Xfinity race?
No, but I saw the highlights. I saw what happened with Parker, the controversy there. So it blows that this guy's trying to get his first win. He's kind of a fan favorite. I mean, he's on NBC every week. He's an excellent pit reporter he's become really good at that craft. And he had a hell of a run, man. And he earned that win. And dude, I don't know, 20 feet away from taking the white flag and the yellow flies. It's just, it sucks for him. You gutted when something like that happens. You couldn't like NASCAR, read the room, man. You couldn't wait a second. You couldn't wait one more second. Like, I don't know. Again, it just like Eric said, it goes back to what we were just talking about with the officials.
Yeah, so if you're listening, you're like, I don't know what happened in the Xfinity race. During the green white checker, the last lap before the white flag, a car ended up in the tire barrier and it was stuck there for a while, where NASCAR officials claim they couldn't see it. Apparently the NASCAR official likes to look out the window when he's officiating at the Roval. That was what I read about this particular official. And
when you have blind spots all over the place.
And television caught it, where it was on the giant, the biggest HD screen in the country, I believe, is at Charlotte.
Behind Texas.
Okay, still, second biggest screen. It was on there at the time, and the NASCAR official missed the call where it should have been a caution, and it should have been a caution much earlier than it was thrown. And the whole rub was Parker Kligerman was leading the race, about to take the white flag before they threw the caution. And Eric, it wasn't even 20 feet. It was about 6 feet away from the start finish line. So literally like a tenth or two of a second away from taking that white flag, which would have given him the win under caution, thanks to the new rules change. And Parker Kligerman got burned on that one. It's also his last full-time season in Xfinity racing. He can't afford to do it full-time anymore. And so it was possibly the last win of his career right there, taken away. His only win in the Xfinity series, yes. He has a couple wins in the truck series, at least 2, I believe. But yeah, like you said, kind of a fan favorite, just because I know I like him because of his personality on NBC as a pit reporter and just a NASCAR analyst in general. Real likable guy. And
he's a good follow on Twitter too. He's funny.
Yeah, and just
pure fact, he never won a race, about to make the playoffs, about to advance in the playoffs if you win that race.
And it's like, team
he's done full time. All of that wrapped up into it. Like Matt said, read the fucking room in that moment. And if NASCAR, this is where it's like the officials are different, because if NASCAR really won a certain way, there was no better content that could have been created than letting one of your own fucking pit reporters imagine the content you could have gotten out of that. So in a way, it's like, man, NASCAR, they blew an opportunity there to extend that win and that content further. And it was just heartbreaking.
No, I agree. And he was driving the 48, so 2 48 cars got fucked this weekend. But Speaking of the Cup race, though, Kyle Larson led 3 times for 62 laps. We saw the race last 3 hours and 3 seconds, no minutes there, and 5 cautions for 13 laps, 7 lead changes among 6 different drivers. Your top 5: Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, William Byron, Austin Cindric, and Chase Elliott. Honestly, I was pulling for Cindric the whole entire race. I wanted to see him. I want to see him get a win and in to the next round, just because almost could have done it. Just needed a restart there, a little beating and banging. But fellas, what did you guys think of the race? I think we're kind of all on the same page. But let's start with Matt for the race grade. What'd you think?
I gave it a C+. I think the only reason I gave it a C+ and probably not like a C- is we saw a decent battle with Logano versus Allmendinger there for a little bit, as Logano's right on the, and again, like if this was not a playoff race, probably wouldn't have even cared about this battle.
Yeah.
It was good just because Joey Logano was on the cutting block there. And then we got to watch Reddick claw his way back into the playoffs after a tumultuous race. That made it a little exciting.
Yeah.
Outside of that, guys, I watched the race on Sunday, start to finish. But what I also do because of this podcast, the day that we record on Tuesdays, is at some point I'll try to find 20 minutes to go back and watch the highlight package just to refresh my mind, especially this time of year when we have the NFL going on and I have 2 screens. It's just a little refresher. And it was a 20-minute highlight package. And in 20 minutes, there was no battles. It was all like spins in turn 7 and that 180-degree turn 7. It was like, some playoff things here and there, but there was no like, look at this battle that lasted 10 laps or whatever. There was none of that.
Other one, Matt. It was Chase and Austin Cindric. It didn't last long. It was maybe 3-4 laps where Cindric was slower than the 9. And, I was waiting. Like Chase got a little impatient and he ended up moving him. But he moved him in a way where it was like he didn't wreck him, he didn't spin him. It was a veteran way to, hey, I'm faster than you, get out of the way.
Yeah.
So
you had a couple of those, but like outside of that, like that's like I don't know, that's it. And I don't know, kind of like the Clash at the Coliseum or like the Indy Road Course. I'm over the Roval experience. These cars run really great on 1.5 miles.
Yeah.
Charlotte's the home track for everyone. Let's run this thing on the 1.5 miles going forward. I mean, we're going back to the Roval at least for next year. But I mean, Eric always says that the manufactured road courses have overstayed their welcome, and I'm over it. I'm with you guys. Like let's be done with this because it was cool the first couple of years. It was actually awesome racing. I loved the Roval the first couple of years, but we had the old car. And it was just good, a couple sets of good circumstances where, made the racing good. But now it's just like, meh. And I'm over the manufactured road courses. I really am.
I agree, man. I wholeheartedly agree with that. Where, the first couple of years it was fun. It was new. It was interesting. The old car, I feel like with the metal bodies, you couldn't beat and bang as much because there was a bigger penalty. You cut a tire and your day is ruined. Now, like, it's just evolved into chaos. That's it. It is just straight chaos. And I also give it a C because, especially after the modification, NASCAR is looking for chaos. They get it, but we're at a track that produces some of the best racing out there out of any of the other track. And we're running an alternate street or an alternate road course. And I don't get it. Like, go back to the 1.5 miles. Give us 400 miles,
let's give us what like stock car. Well,
the bread and butter of stock car racing is short track racing, but still, like, give us oval racing. I don't know. I feel like in a car that is getting better at road course racing, at least it seems a little bit. I don't think we need as many as we have. I really don't, and I don't know. I'd like us to get back to the 1.5 miles. How about you, Eric? What? I gave it a C. How about you?
Yeah, I gave it a straight C. I said, like, this race is dominated by the 5, so a lot of people will go that way. Oh, look at Larson ran away with this.
Yeah.
And yeah, he did. But if the 5 doesn't have an issue, there was another car in line, the 20 car. He was only 1.5 seconds or so behind him. He would have dominated as well anyway. So either way, there were a couple cars that were light years above other cars this past weekend. But Matt nailed it by saying, like, if this wasn't a playoff race or a cutoff, like, we would be furious right now in the regular season with this race. Yeah. We would be like, this is fucking an F. This race didn't produce anything. Like, it just, I said, chasing the 2. You know, there was a couple little battles that lasted a couple laps, but nothing where you're like, ooh, I wonder what's going to happen here. You just had kind of chaos. And like you said, Whitey, where they changed the course to add even more chaos. And I hated that turn because it promotes chaos. This car promotes chaos by being durable. And, you know, like, people always bitch. Denny bitches. I heard Chase bitch. Like, even Larson. Like, let us race on tracks that, like, are going to race. Like, don't try to manufacture this bullshit. And that turn 7 literally ruined the entire race, because could you imagine when Tyler Reddick overdrove the shit out of it because he thought, oh, I'm going to push this 4 wide and just bury it into here.
Yeah, that was his plan.
That was his plan. He did, and like, no offense, Whitey, but that was a Joey Logano-esque move that he did. And guess what? He almost took out his owner, Denny fucking Hamlin, by doing it in the process, and himself. Now, could you imagine in that one turn that NASCAR manufacturer changed it to create that, took out not only Denny Hamlin, who is searching for that one and only championship that he has, your regular season champion would have gotten taken out.
Yeah.
And then what happens from that point forward in the race? Everyone is checked out. Everyone's like, what the hell? This is, if we were on the oval mat, this wouldn't have happened. We're trying to crown our champion, boys.
Yeah.
By this way? We're trying to crown our champion by this track, by changing and creating a 180-degree turn where you know people are going to dive bomb. It just, to me, was just over the top by NASCAR here, trying to create chaos and not being. It's just not a genuine way to crown a champion by doing this shit. It was just I was embarrassed watching that, to be honest with you.
You know what else it was too? It was NASCAR admitting they're wrong without coming out and saying that they're wrong. And here's what I mean by that. They know the Roval racing has sucked. So what do? They go and they put a 180-degree turn in there for a braking zone, a manufactured braking zone that would cause chaos.
Yeah.
Because they know that there's not really many opportunities to pass on that track. You got that heartburn turn after the start-finish line there. Other than that, like, unless there's physical moving of a car out of the way, like, there's no real passing zones on that manufactured track. So, hey, let's put this 180-degree turn. We know that there's going to be chaos here. And it's like admitting, like, dude, if you think you have to fix something, like, why don't we just get rid of it altogether? Nobody's holding a gun to your head saying, we got it, we need the Roval.
And the broadcast, they even tried to, like, butter it up and butter the fans up to the change. Like, oh, look at this turn here. They changed it so now you could go inside or you could go outside. Now you have options in this turn. Buddy, get real. The only option is dive bomb and use 16 tires are better than fucking 4 tires. Yeah. Everyone knows that that's what they're going to do. No one's going to be like, you know what? I'm going to go wide here. I'm going to take the long way around this fucking turn. No, you're not.
Where we slow down to 30 miles per hour, 40 miles per hour. Let me go to the outside. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so at all. Yeah, I'm totally with you guys. It was, if this wasn't a playoff race, it would have been probably the worst race of the season for sure. But because of those playoff implications, it gave us something interesting to watch.
Also manufactured
though. So yeah, I don't know. Let's jump into the checkers and records.
3 wide for the lead. 1 lap to go.
It's this week's checkers and wreckers.
All right. And I meant to go to Eric first with the race grades, because since we already did Matt's wreckers earlier during the news segment, Matt, what's your checkers for the weekend?
So real quick, Whitey, I'm not going to let you be the homer this week.
I appreciate that.
45 team and driver. The team gets it because of the strategy to win stage 1.
Yeah.
Those points would prove very important because they had a very up and down day after that.
Oh, yeah.
And then the driver gets my checkers as well because he dug down deep. He was aggressive, but he did what he had to do, and he did just enough to overcome the issues and continue on to the next round. And so for once, instead of busting your balls, Whitey, I'm giving the 45 team props.
I appreciate that. I think you have to give the team even more props, not only just for that first stage, but just all the work that the crew had to do on that car to get it quick enough near the end there. And then even the strategy call to come in for tires, put yourself further back and then hope it makes the difference, where obviously it did, because before they pitted on that last caution, Chase was 2 spots ahead of him, and I don't think he was gonna catch him. You know, like, I just don't think he had the car at that point. But they came in, worked on just a little bit more, threw some new tires on it, and God, he kind of saved the show of the race. Like, that whole entire third stage was exciting because of one reason: Tyler Reddick flying through the field, hunting down Joey Logano, and watching that cut line battle. Seeing SVG and AJ Allmendinger.
No, I gotta stop you here. We're gonna Matt's giving you the props, but you're missing the reason why he had to go through the field. It's because he full on T-boned his owner.
Well, he did.
Right.
Well, you want to know what, Matt?
Like a lunatic.
Matt,
I loved it though, Whitey. When I saw him do that, I'm like, in that scenario, playoffs, like, you gotta do that. You have to turn into Joey Logano and Ross Chastain, you gotta do it.
Because with those guys, what have we seen? It doesn't matter. No one's paying you back. And if they are, it's like, it doesn't even matter then either.
Nope.
You know, no one has the balls to really pay someone back anymore. Kenseth did.
Right there, baby.
I tell you what, if you didn't give him the checkers, I was thinking about giving him the checkers and the wreckers. One for putting himself in that position to have to go and fight through the field. But yeah, I like it. How about you, Eric? What's your checkers and wreckers for the weekend?
My checkers goes to the second place driver, 20 of Christopher Bell. Man, he just has that DeWalt, Camry just
dialed in right now.
Absolutely dialed in. I mean, he's built for this. He's built for the playoffs. Like, it's just one of those things where I like the fact that, hey, everyone talk about the Kyle Larson and Tyler Reddick regular season championship battle and the drama behind that. Go ahead, fine, leave that. Talk about how Larson dominated this race, and talk about how Reddick blew this and had to come back and make his way back in. Oh, is he going to make the cut? Keep talking about all of that, because, the guy that, I didn't forget, and I know Christopher Bell didn't forget. Oh, there was a little TV series last year that, it was following around these playoff drivers that, they thought were going to make it down there. And you know who didn't get invited? Christopher Bell. You know who they had to pull in once he did make it? Christopher Bell. You know who was also salty about it? Was Christopher Bell. He didn't forget that. And guess what? He's a playoff driver. He performs the best in the playoffs. He's consistent right now, and he's still flying under the radar. And I think that's fueling him even more and more and more, because no one's talking about it. And I like that. They mentioned it a couple times. Oh, he's made the championship 2 consecutive years in a row. And that's it. They just keep saying that. Nothing else about anything. Like, it's all right now. The Denny Hamlin 20-11's consuming a lot of that. And I don't know. I think this season might be the first time he doesn't need that last round win to get himself into that championship 4. He is just producing week in and week out. Hope it's not too soon, but that 20 was right on Larson's ass all day.
Eric, I'm right there with you, brother.
Yeah.
And it goes back not even to last season and him winning big pressure races to advance. The season before that they still don't give him the credit for. He went out and won the Roval 3 years ago in a must-win situation. Yeah. Got him into the round of 8. Then he goes to Martinsville and wins again in a must-win situation and gets overshadowed by the Hail Melon. And then he goes on to Phoenix, and I think he finished 3rd that season.
Well, he blew he had his car. He didn't even get an opportunity to race for a championship.
That was last year.
So then he comes back And he gets fucking disrespected after that playoff run by Netflix, where it's like, yeah, we don't have to watch this Christopher Bell guy. And what does he do? He goes out and he does it again. Must-win situations, just fucking rocking and rolling. And then his car fucks him with a brake rotor at Phoenix last season. This season, man, we talked about Tyler Reddick going into the championship or the playoffs. We talk about Kyle Larson every year. We talk about Slick Willie 2 clocks, really gaining momentum. We've talked about Alex Bowman and what he's been doing. Nobody is talking about Christopher Bell once again. I think we all had him in our Final Four, though. Did we not? I believe so.
I do.
I have him as my champion.
Oh yeah, you have him as your champion. I think Matt had him as the champion too, possibly.
I don't remember.
I think he took 2 Slick Willie for his champion, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Okay. I know I picked Reddick.
Yeah, you went home. He went Slick Willie, and I went with the 20.
Yeah. So, but I know we all had Bell in our championship for. I'm almost certain. But yeah, I love it. No one's talking about him, but you're right, Eric. He was right there the whole race, waiting to capitalize. So,
and my Wreckers, the 22. It's just they don't scare me anymore.
No.
The 22 just does not scare me anymore like they did in the past. Needed a disqualified 48 car to advance.
Yeah.
Should not be in the playoffs right now. He had a decent race on Sunday as far as battling to try to get in there. But all season long, even in these it's not the Joey we're used to seeing. It's not the Joey that I'm scared is just going to rip off 4 in a row. It's not a Joey that's going to run consistently in the top 5. And I looked because Whitey, you brought something up earlier, and it's kind of why I wrapped them up in my Wreckers here with Joey. I did some looking. His average finish this year is 19th.
Yeah.
Austin Cindric's is 18th.
Yeah.
Or it might be vice versa, but they're right there. 18, 19 average finish. So, when everyone talks about Cindric and, maybe he was a fluke in the playoffs and this and that, no. In all reality, Austin Cindric had a great season. Austin Cindric's been running really well for Austin Cindric and that 2 team.
Yeah.
Now, the same exact basic stats from the 2 to the 22, but there's Joey Logano. That's a 2-time NASCAR champion. And he's running the same as Austin Cindric.
He's supposed to be one of the best in the sport.
I think we got to start holding him at the same fucking level now. It's like Joey's, I don't know, he doesn't scare me anymore, which I love. But, man, I think this wraps around where, Cindric, I was rooting for him. In a way, because it's everyone's talking about Cindric. No, Logano shouldn't have even fucking been in the playoffs.
No.
But he's held at a higher standard, obviously, doesn't get the criticism. But when you go back and you look at some of the stats and where they run all year long, they just haven't been a good team. They've been overshadowed by late season speed by the 12 and the 22 of late to creep in there, steal championships, and it overshadows the fact that they're not even the fastest car in the garage. They're not even close to being the fastest car in the garage or the best team in the garage at all.
No.
And it's just man, I just think we got to start talking about Joey Logano in the air that we talk about Alex Bowman. Is his ride up for a fucking, Joey Logano guaranteed in there? He's not performing well. He's one of those people that have been around the sport, has a name, and is a champion. But, man, I'll tell you what, he ain't the same old fucking slice of bread that we know.
Joey Logano should have never made the playoffs. The only reason why he did was he won at Nashville after the 5th overtime restart. You know who should have won that race? Tyler Reddick. He was leading. He probably should have won that race. The only reason why he made it to the round of 12 was that win in Atlanta. Where
bullshit wins.
Bullshit wins.
And it's that's not the Joey we're used to, and it's yes, thank God. And then
but that's the Joey we saw last year too. We saw this same Joey last year, where that's what I'm saying. It's building, Whitey. It's the product. The data's there over 2 years.
that shows that
The
Joey
sliced bread
Logano is
went
not
moldy.
a top 15 fucking driver.
The sliced bread is moldy. It's
It's
no
moldy,
good.
dude. It's moldy. Fucking throw it out for the birds,
Toss it
baby.
out. Yeah. Whatchamacallit? I
So
agree.
that's my records, checkers and wreckers.
Matt, you got anything else to add to that?
I do have something to add to that. I thank you for asking me. Isn't it wild that there's a fine line between moldy bread, normal bread?
Right.
It's called croutons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
Croutons is just hard old bread. That's all croutons are. A little seasoning on them.
and I never understood
And they're
because
delicious.
my
I love croutons. You don't love croutons. Why don't you get the fuck
Get
out?
out of here. My grandmother used to make her own croutons. Back in the day, she'd just have a bowl of old bread sitting out. And I'm like, Grandma, how is this not going moldy? I still don't know. Do you have to cover it with something? Like, how you got to pull the moisture out, right? Something like that? I don't know.
Yeah, you leave it on the counter for a couple days, it dries the hell right out. Yeah.
But do you like-
then you cover it in oil
cover it-
seasoning, you put it in the oven and you bake it.
Then you bake
Because
it. All right.
it's when moisture gets in like a bag of bread is what makes it moldy. It's
Okay.
when you leave it out,
Just gets hard as a rock.
The air gets to it, dries it out, and
I didn't know if you had to put a towel on it so the towel draws some of the
you
moisture
throw
out.
some garlic powder on that, and away you go with some croutons.
Boys, how good is like a true Caesar salad? Where they have the anchovies ground up. Do you ever have them make it at the table side? It's a little fancy, but
Never had.
Like a Caesar salad or like a homemade Caesar salad?
like a Caesar salad, but like made.
No, wait, Eric.
Neither.
You've never had a Caesar salad.
No.
Oh, well, Eric doesn't like onions, so get it without the onions. But other than that,
I didn't eat lettuce until like 2 years ago.
Man. That's a Whitey statement that I'm surprised that's not coming out of my mouth. That wild.
You're 34 years old.
Dude, I'm a real like shredded lettuce. Like I was terrified of shredded lettuce for
Well,
years.
shredded
Dude.
lettuce
Like
sucks.
the
Yeah.
texture of it. Like I threw up one time when I was real young.
Mushrooms too, right?
Yep. Oh, the texture
I
cannot do
don't like
mushrooms.
I don't like
Cannot do
mushrooms
shredded
either.
lettuce. Like
We-
I'm a texture guy, and it just I can't do it.
We were in high school. We went to Januzzi's, and I got like a stromboli, and there was mushrooms on it. And Eric wouldn't get in the car with me because I was bringing leftovers home. Eric wouldn't get in the car.
the
with me
smell
because
of
of the
mushrooms.
Oh,
And I was like, Eric, get in the car. He's like, I'm not getting in the car. I'm not getting in the car.
Eric did
I thought he was going to fight me because of mushrooms.
Eric did a real weird thing like that to me at work the one day. Back when we worked together at Pride, it was during lunch, something with onions. I can't remember, but you had to freak out about onions. We're like, don't fucking touch me with onions, bro.
because it fucking like it just overtakes everything.
It
You know what I
does.
mean? Like I could. It's raw. Okay, raw onion,
onion.
white onion can't do it. A
Red
caramelized onion, a nice red onion, I could do that. But like just
I
a
agree.
straight white onion, like on a pizza, get the fuck out of here with that.
I'm right there with you with onions, man. A cooked up onion with pierogies.
Yes, fine,
Let's
perfectly
go.
fine. Yeah.
You want white onions, garbage. Yellow onions, red onions, fantastic. So I
Speaking
could
of
agree
the-
with you there.
Speaking of onions, what is the onion up to lately?
He's probably hanging up at the fucking the Checkerboard Inn in Dallas.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's probably in our neck of the woods somewhere.
It's Todd Bodine is the onion, right? Todd, right?
Yeah,
He
yeah.
hangs out in Northeast Pennsylvania a lot, and I don't know why. The Vavs see him all the time. Like Matt,
We know why. The valley we get down here.
Guy likes
we
to-
know why.
Yeah,
the guy
he's
like,
got that valley in him.
Yeah, he's got the valley in him. Junior's got the valley in him.
that's why you see him at the fucking Checkerboard Inn. They have good pizza and wings and beer and shit. The onion's getting down. Anyways, I think it's my checkers and wreckers, right? Oh, Eric, try a Caesar salad. Just get it. Just try it. It's fantastic. Sorry.
And that's all we have for the show today, fellas.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to say there's a real fancy place called Kevin's. If you ever want to take Dana on a real nice date, like an anniversary date or something, go to Kevin's and get the Caesar salad. They have two options, though. One where they make it table side. I don't like that because it just feels weird. The guy's right there making it for you, but they hand make the dressing and all that stuff. It is so fucking good. Anyways, my checkers and wreckers goes to my checkers. Actually, something we don't normally do. I give it to Kyle Larson. We never talk about the winner much,
What?
but Kyle Larson.
You're giving it to Kyle Larson?
I am giving it to Kyle Larson.
Man, yeah.
Because
I just heard Dana go, let's go.
Because, I mean, if you read between the lines on this podcast, I am a Kyle Larson hater, but he just had a dominant performance. His car was strong. His car was so good that at one point he pitted before stage 2, to get good track position for after the restart to go for that win. And he still finished in the top 10 and got stage points because he was just cutting through the field.
And he's done that multiple times.
He has.
At road courses where like everyone's like, okay, you win stage 1 and 2, you're fucked for the end of the race. He's won all 3 before in that same fashion. I think Reddick's done it though too.
I think Reddick did it.
Coda?
At Coda once where he won a stage and then won the race. That was a crazy race too. But yeah, Larson's done it at least twice. I think he did it at Sonoma also earlier in the year where he won stage 1 and then skipped stage 2, ended up cycling through and won the race. But yeah, just awesome performance. Like you said though, Christopher Bell was waiting in the heels for any type of mistake. But that's the thing, Kyle Larson didn't make a mistake this time, and we've shit on Kyle Larson a lot this season where he's either checkers or wreckers, and he ends up making a mistake. And I think honestly, the Roval's kind of one of his worst road courses. I know he has a win previously here, but before that, like he's kind of 30th place or up there here. So just big congratulations to Kyle Larson. I don't see a world where he doesn't make the championship for. And
no, he's got some kind of magic with him. I was saying it earlier,
especially
like it
this
just
round
seems
coming
like,
up.
Yeah, when he finishes top 5 at a super speedway, he's guaranteed to make the final 4.
And honestly, dude, right now, the top 4 in points, Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick, and William Byron. Now,
Perfect. That final 4, that's who we've talked about the most all year.
Look at this round. We have Vegas, which I think Christopher Bell won in the spring, or did he win Phoenix in the spring and Larson won Vegas in the spring?
I think Larson dominated Vegas.
Yeah.
Okay, so Larson dominated Vegas. We have Homestead, Miami, where Larson, Bell, Reddick, and Byron, they all do well running the fence. We have Martinsville, Slick Willie, 2 clocks running in Martinsville. I mean, yeah, we have Ryan Blaney, Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott, and Joey Logano outside looking in, but this round is really set up for the top 4 guys in points right now. So it should be very exciting. And I am excited. I think at this point in the season, Kyle Larson probably between him and Bell, probably championship favorite. I don't know. It's tough to name a championship favorite right now.
Slick Willie, his last 3 finishes are second, third.
Yeah.
So he's getting overlooked too here.
Oh yeah, man, it is. The playoffs are doing what the playoffs are intended to do, and they are making me excited. Yeah. Oh, that reminds me. Before I get to my wreckers, Chase Elliott said something interesting, and I wonder. I think it goes to Christopher Bell's point where he's good under pressure and stuff, where Chase Elliott said he likes the playoff format because every race kind of feels like it matters more than in the regular season. Like you have to perform, and he is. It says he said he feels like he has something to race for, and I wonder if that's why Christopher Bell is turning it up too, because Christopher Bell is the same type of guy where he wants to have something on the line right now every race. Besides just the race win, because the race win, if you're stuck in 7th, but now you're fighting for every point. So this is kind of where you have to give props to the playoff format, where at least it is kind of exciting. The problem is we get stacked with a bunch of shitty races in the playoffs where it's that one sucked and it didn't keep my attention and it wasn't a good race. I feel like Las Vegas has the potential to be that all over again because
this next run of races is also going to be I think awesome because they also fit Denny Hamlin.
Yeah, they do.
Now, Denny, this is his round. This is his round where he can't have another
make or break.
Yeah, he has to perform well in every single race this round. And these races all fit him really well. So sitting below, trying to make it in, there's going to be, this is crunch time. This is the round that I could genuinely get excited about because you kind of the ones that shouldn't maybe have been there. That's all taken care of and gone. And you get the real here.
Except for one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Matt, do you have anything to add to that? Because it looked like you were about to say something before, but I don't know.
Yeah. Anchovies?
So I won't eat an anchovy on its own, but an anchovy in Caesar salad, it's really fucking good. It's really
had
good.
Anchovies one time on a pizza, Harvey's Lake, the Grotto. I was hammered drunk with Andre, and we ordered an anchovy pie.
Kind of salty and tasty, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you guys know that people say I'm more of a picky eater than I think I am, but like if I'm giving it the stamp of approval, give it a shot, man. Anyways, my Wreckers goes to the new layout.
How are we still on Checkers and Wreckers?
I thought this was going to be a quick episode too. The new layout at the Roval. We already got our gripes out, but that was my Wreckers. Just give me 400 miles at the Oval. Other than that, AJ Allmendinger, Shane Van Gisbergen had great runs. They led laps.
Yeah, fuck Carson Hocevar too, that cocksucker in turn 7. Took him right the fuck out.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was all about. That was
it was turn 7.
It was turn
chaos.
7. Yeah, if that turn isn't there, that doesn't happen.
Right.
Yeah. Other than that, a lot of playoff guys had good runs in the top 10. The only playoff guys outside the top 10 were Denny Hamlin, finished 14th, and Alex Bowman finished last, but he was inside the top 10 to begin with. Yeah, other than that, not a whole lot of guys led laps. Alex Bowman led once for 5. Tyler Reddick led once for 5. Everyone else, it was Kyle Larson, AJ Allmendinger, and the Shane Van Gisbergen show early on. Those guys kind of fell off due to strategy in the second stage. And then again, the whole Carson Hocevar deal. Other than that, not a whole lot of noise from anybody else. Just guys running
Shout out
laps.
SVG, though. Back poles and Xfinity, pole and cup. He had himself a weekend. He, without winning the races, he's still the road course king. There's no denying it.
I think with him going full time in the Cup Series next year, I think we pivot, the three of us, and we call this the Kiwi Boys Podcast.
Yeah,
because
I'm all on board. Your old man's on board.
My old man's on board.
Well, you want
was that out? Was that public? Was that?
No, I don't know if I announced it on his behalf, but my old man picked a driver for next year. I don't know. I might have mentioned this last week. I forget. I don't know if it was just with you guys.
No, it was after the show because
So my old man, famously, it was Earnhardt, Junior. Once Junior retired, he struggled more than even myself on picking a driver, and he really hasn't landed on a driver. I think he has a Chase Elliott shirt, but he's not a Chase Elliott fan. He's liked Marty. He's kind of followed my path of we've kind of been wandering a little bit.
Yeah.
He told me a couple weeks ago, he's like, next year SVG, he's my guy. So congrats on making that announcement, big guy.
Welcome aboard. And speaking of, maybe instead of having the Kiwis podcast, we've had many segments over the years. We used to do NASCAR history. We used to do the Pick a Lane segment. Haven't really done that in a while. Maybe next season we do the Kiwi Spotlight and we just break down a little bit part of SVG's race and his season as a rookie in the NASCAR Cup Series.
Love it. Love it.
Mark it down.
We are the foremost American podcast that is for SVG, baby.
You're goddamn right we are. And man, I can't wait for those numbers when he wins, because our biggest numbers come from Australia when he wins. But back on track. Speaking of here on the Bum Run podcast, everyone loves to talk about the winner one, Kyle Larson. We actually did that for once. But we also have to talk about the loser, and that was one, unfortunately, Alex Bowman. He was DQ'd, but the guy who really came in last, our good old buddy, one, Corey LaJoie. He had engine issues on lap 4, couldn't make it past then, had to retire. The number
it's a shame because I really thought he had
car.
a chance at the win.
I thought he had a chance of the win too this week. So Corey LaJoie, I think that's the 3rd time this season. I'm not exactly sure. I lose count every season. But we are heading, we mentioned it earlier, to Las Vegas, Sin City, baby. Saturday, Xfinity on track, 7:30 on the CW for the Ambetter Health 302 Saturday night racing in the Xfinity series. Don't know what the college football game is of the week, but Daddy might be doing a little boozing. How about you, Matt? And then Cup on track, Cup on track Sunday 2:30 on NBC for the South Point 400. On Saturday night, little night racing, drinking. Nah, never.
I don't drink.
Yeah.
Picking on the Irish guy?
No, buddy. I am gonna be knee deep in Texas, Georgia football.
Okay.
Night.
Yeah.
See,
I don't follow college football. I don't follow football at all, so I'm looking forward to a little Saturday night racing, although it might be a Dungeons and Dragons night. Getting wild with the Dungeons and Dragons. Anyways, our picks from last week. Unfortunately, Eric picked Alex Bowman. He got you 1 point, so you get to pick.
Blake Harris has made my list.
He did.
Yeah. Rightfully so.
He stalled you in the points. You were catching up to Matt. Unfortunately, you are now still 52 points back. Matt, you picked Kyle Busch. He got you 27 points. You came in second for the week. And I picked Slick Willie 2 clocks. He got me 34 points. So I pick last. Matt picks second. Eric, you pick first. Who are you taking in Las Vegas?
I'm going to go. I'm going like gut here. I'm going vibes. I'm going, probably I'll leave some out there that you probably think I'm going to take. But I mentioned, at the end of the show here that, this next round is also crucial for another driver that's not at the top right now. And I just think that it's got to be his time at some point in time. Denny Hamlin locks himself in to the championship four.
I thought about picking Denny too, to be honest with you.
Eric, last 7 races, and I go 7 races because that's how many we've had so far at Vegas with the next gen car. 5 top 10s at Vegas out of 7 races, 3 top 5s and 1 win. Great pick, my friend. Not so fast though, because I got someone who's got a little bit better stats. Last 7 races, he's got 6 top 10s at Vegas, 5 top 5s at Vegas, and 3 wins. I'm not fucking around anymore. You're on my heels. I'm going with his on-track rival, Kyle Larson.
Well, those are the 2 guys that I had in mind for my pick. Matt, who's the 3rd best at this track, if you don't mind, over the last 7 races?
Probably Blaney, I would imagine. Blaney runs well here.
I'm thinking Blaney. I'm thinking a Toyota, maybe.
You're not going to want to hear this.
Yeah.
It's MTJ.
Is it MTJ? Damn. See, I'm staying away from MTJ.
Yeah, dude.
You want to know what? For some reason, and he's calling... I don't know if it's just the drama surrounding him, but he's a West Coast guy. It's not his home track, but he's from
I almost went with the 9 of Chase Elliott because I feel like he's running under the radar like Christopher Bell too. Well, and he's going to pop. You said about pressure. I'm like, do I go with Chase? Because underdog, his mindset is just like Christopher Bell. And he's been coasting through this, had a great regular season, almost won the regular season championship. And no one's talking about the most popular guy in our sport, Chase Elliott. So, man, look for him to make some noise here in this round.
Nobody is talking about Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott's had a run in the playoffs too, and kind of overlooked.
Trust me. As a survivor of that cult, plenty of people are talking about Chase Elliott.
See, I guess I'm just not tuned into the Chase fans. No, my initial instinct was to pick Alex Bowman to kind of give a fuck you, type win. Hey, I should have been in this round. Now you bring it up though. Yeah, I'm going with Bowman. I want to see Alex Bowman go out there and win and say "fuck you, NASCAR." I'm still gonna go on a run. Keep the momentum going.
To add my last statement here, this is also, I think, our last chance for Kyle Busch to also get that 20.
I think so too.
Vegas, it's going home if I'm not mistaken for him.
Yeah.
Him and Kurt loved going there. Now this car, I don't know as much as the old gen car, but man, I'm pulling for Kyle Busch this week to get that record.
I was thinking maybe if it was like the week after the Olympic break, I would go Kyle Busch at Las Vegas for the lock.
Kyle has 5 top 5s out of 7 races at Vegas.
Really?
Yeah. That's next gen then too. So he still wheels it around that fucking place, man.
I just don't trust RCR. I could see him getting a top 5. I don't see him getting the win.
But if RCR is getting blamed, Whitey, this goes into your thing. You want the 48 to give a fuck you.
Yeah.
What if RCR getting drugged through the mud, accused of these allegations? What if RCR goes out and said, yeah, you know what? You're accused of all this shit. Kyle Busch goes out there and rips off a win and gives a double bird as soon as he gets in victory lane.
Could you
I'm putting Whitey through a blender right now.
Yeah.
All right. Who will it be? Who will it be? All right. I'm not gonna give my pick until the end of the show. I'm not gonna.
You're pausing because you forget ours already.
No, I remember to go over the playoff picture right now. Kyle Larson is leading the points, 33 points to the good. Christopher Bell 13, Tyler Reddick 10, and William Byron 4. Blaney -4, Denny Hamlin -8, Chase Elliott -9, Joey Logano -11. Out of the playoffs, Alex Bowman, Austin Cindric, Daniel Suarez, and Chase Briscoe did not make it through at the end of this round. Who will it be locking themselves into the round of 4, or will it be another outside of the playoffs driver? We'll find out this Sunday, 2:30 on NBC. Will it be Kyle Larson? Will it be will it be Denny Hamlin?
Yeah.
Or will it be our defending Cup Series championship, Ryan Blaney, getting himself locked in? We will find out this Sunday, 2:30 on NBC for the South Point 400, and we will break it all down for you right here on the Bumper Run Podcast next Tuesday night for Matt the Statman Reilly, for Eric Daytona Ron. I'm Michael D. White saying have a good night. The Bumper Run.
There it is.